Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone being here. Welcome to this workshop. It's my honor that I have all of you here to who are interested in knowing more. How can you be connected with your audiences at an emotional level? So that's an honor, honestly. A little bit about me. I'm Shivani. I've been a brand strategist for over 20 plus years. I also have a podcast. If you haven't heard that, please go check Think Brand, Talk Brand on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. I'm also a speaker on stage. I speak about perception because I think that's what a brand is. It's about creating that perception so that you are chosen, right? That's what we want. I'm a boy mom and I'm a yapper. Nowadays, it's called being a storyteller. So if that's what it is, I've been a lifelong storyteller. But yeah, the core work that I do is about helping your brand sound, feel, and show up like you mean it. So we are all here today because we are all posting things. We are all showing up, right? We are all doing the things that have been asked of us to make us more and more relevant to our audiences. But it's like every time you sit down and you're trying to create that content, you are there's a bit of a blank space that you're looking at because you're thinking, okay, I what do I post now? Right? Like I'm gonna start from scratch. Okay, that didn't work. So let me start from scratch. This Monday, I'm gonna try this out. This Monday, next Monday, I'm gonna try that out. So you keep shifting the way that you're connecting with your audiences based on whatever traction that you are using as your benchmark. So that's the real problem, right? It's really something that most founders are struggling with. And I want to take a little bit of time, and most of you may have heard about this messy middle. Uh, I think it was a research done by Google about how it almost takes about 20 touch points. Let me repeat that. 20 touch points for your audiences to even start registering you as a real player in that space, right? So this is the if you look at the picture on the right, this is the whole exposure area that your audience has, right? This includes social media, emails, website, all of that, right? And you are putting out these triggers based on your content, and your audience is going through this journey of constant exploration, right? And this is what I'm talking about, the 20 touch points. This place is where you are playing right now. You want them to eventually be here where they can actually make a decision to work with you, and that takes some time, right? And in this time, in 2026, our attention span is cooked. We all know that, right? So if you every Monday you're changing the way you talk to your audiences, this exposure area is this part is constantly increasing for you. You're losing the signal with which your audience can connect with you. Your brand is drifting. And I think the biggest problem is the financial leak. Like, even for a solopreneur, your time is money. So it's really important. Okay, Michael has something to say. Yes, Michael.
Yes, really quickly, I apologize. The Messy Middle project was about a 110-page paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a person who studied behavioral economics from Chicago Booth, I was very interested in this paper. But I think what they're really saying here is they limited it to 6 touch points. And those 6 touch points are applicable to behavior on internet purchases, right? So like
Yes.
social proof, scarcity mindset, and all these other factors. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
when the
Sorry.
study, sorry, so when the study was done, I think the touch points were between 6 and 8. In 2026, it's already increased, right? With AI, with more social media platforms like Threads coming up, the surface area is increasing. So when the study happened, the touch points were lesser, but they are constantly increasing, and this is the latest number. So
So
that's what I'm trying to show.
it's a messier middle.
It's a messier middle. Perfect. That's the right way of putting it. So I'm great you asked that, because this really is a place where we need to look at why we are creating all of this content, right? And you may ask that, hey, I could, do a better visual. Let me get the best graphic designer out there. Let me, use all the AI prompts available to me to create a visual that will make people stop in their tracks. But I honestly know that voice beats volume every time. The way you say things will always be greater than the way you show them, because tone is something that people can feel even when they are seeing something, right? And consistency, we all know it's the name of the game. We can't be swinging from one end to the other if we are not consistent with the voice that we're using. That's why this workshop, that we're trying to create a cohesive understanding of how to use your voice. And I always say, useful first, clever second. Simplicity is your friend in today's day and age where, as I said, attention span is cooked. Do not try to sound clever, try to sound very simplistic and useful first, because that's the messier middle that you're trying to work with right now. So, having said that, this is our game plan today. I really want this to be a very tangible effort. This is not, a lot of people think brand strategy is philosophical. It's not. You really can crack it down to things that can work on a daily basis for you. And I really want you to look at this game plan as what you will be using for your content on a daily basis. So, we look at a core emotion that you, as a founder of product or services, uh, are working with. What's the emotion that you're working with? That emotion is actually then shaping your personality as a brand personality. Then we're looking at the behavior of this personality, and then we're going to tone and voice. Together, all of this will form your brand voice. So that's the game plan. For anyone who has ever seen a brand strategy structure before, this is something similar or what I do with my clients. It's called the Forever Framework. And today we are just doing one part of this Forever Framework, which you can see I have highlighted here. It's the perfect middle, because based on what you actually are as a founder, you probably have already done your brand substance, your positioning strategy. I am right now here with you at personality, and then you can use it for your communication, your visual expression, wherever you think right now the gap is. So, this is a perfect middle for me to share one of the things that I do with my clients when we are doing the whole perception architecture system. Today's voice we are going to build is a sheet that you can, use as a filter for every caption, every email, post, blog, whatever it is that you are going to be using. So I'm going to be sharing right now in the chat two options. If you are somebody who uses Canva, then you can directly use Canva link. Or if you're somebody who doesn't have Canva, then I'm going to be sharing a Google link, which will open up a Word document for you. So bear with me, give me a second. Let me share the links with you. In the meanwhile, any questions, please go ahead. Okay, what do we have in the chat? Okay, I hope you've got the links. Please use the links and just check if you are able to access it. All the editing section has been activated, but if there's any problem, just message me and I will have that rectified. And if everything is good and you're able to access it, just give me a thumbs up so I know that I can proceed. There are two files that you can access. One is the actual workbook, which is what you will be taking away with you as something that is that you will be using from this point on. There is a word bank document that I have, that's a supporting document, so that you are not at loss for words. I know 55 minutes is less for someone to just come up, but that's a supporting document. Use it while in the workshop, but please also use it afterwards. I hope everyone's able to access it. If I could just get a thumbs up so I know I can move on. Okay, I think I'm going to move on. Okay, all right. So we're going to be starting with the first step of our brand voice, unlocking our brand voice, right? The first step is you are actually going to pick a core emotion. And when I say a core emotion is It's basically as the founder of this brand or service, you are emoting an emotion to your audience, and it differs based on how you project it, right? So the first emotion is I can guide you. It's an emotion of reassurance. It's an emotion of reliability, that as a brand, you know you have done this, you already know it, and you always emote a reassurance of helping your client get there, helping your consumer get there. Dove does it always very beautifully because they always unlock that emotion in people. Is there someone saying something? If not, please mute your mic so I know that we are good. Okay. The second emotion is be like me, right? You want to motivate your audience. You want to inspire them. They look at you and they're like, I want to be like this person. I want to crack my problems and solutions and be like him. So Nike is a great example, right? The third emotion that you project to your audience is go be great, right? You are facilitating empowerment. You are saying that I am giving you the tools so that you can go and achieve your dreams. Like Apple does it so beautifully in the area of creativity. They are so um, they do it so beautifully. They make sure that this element is spoken through in every way that they communicate. We are the same is the last emotion, which is all about community and belonging, to feel connected, right? Like we're using Canva today. We're all connected here in Canva. So I think it's the best example. So, yes, these are the four emotions. And I want you to think about when you're picking this emotion that you are defining a signal through your content, right? So pick the one that answers that desire the most, right? Like, for example, in your content, same offer to emotions. If it's about I can guide you, then you're going to be talking about your offer as let's build the voice that makes your audience feel it, right? But if your emotion is we are the same, you're saying I started exactly where you are. Can you see the difference? The voice, the emotion is really guiding the copy of how you're saying it. So that's what we want to do. Now, I hope you can hear and see this video. Sometimes there's always a lag or an issue, technical issue. So let me play and stop for a bit. Everything. Can you hear it and see it? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, so the idea is please look at it and then guess the core emotion that Patagonia is trying to display with this, okay?
We make has an impact on the planet. The clothing industry dumps waste into landfills, rivers, and oceans, exploits workers, and contributes up to 10% of the pollution driving the climate crisis. All to sell you this t-shirt. But it doesn't have to be this way. What you buy is what the industry becomes. You have the power to change the way clothes are made. Buy less, demand more.
All right. Anyone in the chat, what emotion do you think they are going for? And if you've forgotten the emotions, here are the four emotions. What do you think they're going for? Empowered. Okay, Anshu says that. Anyone else?
Go to be great.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So the emotion they're going actually for is I can guide you, right? Because they are doing it in a way which signals a lot of reassurance, right? You go for repairs, you donate, there's petition. So in a way they're saying that I do it, I already know how this is done, so let me help you, let me guide you in the way. Because a lot of audiences, they have this desire to do good for the planet, but they don't know how to do it, right? And Patagonia very subliminally tries to portray that. So I really want you to use these four emotions. We're going to take a 5-minute stop here. I want you to go back to your workbooks and put down the emotion that you think as a brand you are signaling to your audience. And I'm going to stop sharing for 5 minutes and then come back here so that you are not distracted and work on that. And we'll come back and I'll take up one person, whoever wants to go, and we'll little bit dissect your core emotion so that we know that we're on the right track. All right.
Shivani, can I ask a question during this time or no?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
So the question I have is, I know Steve Jobs, I'm not sorry, Jeff Bezos, right? And Patagonia CEO, he actually left the company. Um, but the problem that I think is the same way outwardly facing people are trying to help the society, right? So like, for example, a lot of waste is dumped in these rivers in Thailand and all this stuff. But the more public awareness that's brought,
Mm-hmm.
dollar for dollar match, the more waste that gets also put out into the world. So it's like a public message is put out, but at the same time, it's really hard to fix the problem because every time a message is put out, more people spend more money on Amazon, more people spend more money on Patagonia. So it could be a dollar for dollar. We plant a tree, but another tree is cut down. So, or 10 trees are
Yeah,
cut down, we plant one, right? So
I
how
hear
does
what you're
this work?
saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Last question. What did you say something?
No, I was just wondering, based on the public, is it all about like, doing the best for the company, or is it about doing really the best for society, or how does that work?
So think of it, if you're a founder, a business owner, and you want to do good in the world, right? Like that's your understanding, but you're also aware of the facts of all the wrongdoing that's happening at the same time, right? Like your audience is looking at you for some solutions through your content, right? It's trying to look towards you and you are evoking that emotion in them. Uh, so as a founder, that clarity is yours, is your responsibility. If you are going out there in public and wanting them to believe you, to buy something from you, to get influenced by you, to watch your content, that responsibility of being so clear in what you're saying with your content is on you. And that brand clarity can only come when you've done the work, right? And you're not just saying something for the heck of it. And that emotion that I can guide you comes from that experience, comes from that clarity, comes from that belief that the world can change for better. We can all go and say, like, nothing's gonna work. But like then what emotion are you generating in your audience? You are basically making them more hopeless than they are. And as a founder, you can go and just say that, hey, I know world sucks right now, but these are 5 things I can do today. I'm doing today, and you can do it too. So that's the difference between how you communicate based on all the knowledge that you have, all the realities of the world that you're aware of, but you are funneling it through your vision to do X, which is whatever that vision of yours is. So I hope I've answered your question in some context.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
I
Thank you
hope,
so much.
of course, and I hope everyone has used the workbook and the word bank to filter in their emotion. If that's done, then we can definitely back to our presentation. All right. So, knowing that you have nailed down the emotion that your brand is projecting and also your audience is aspiring for it, we go to the next step of our journey, which is about your personality, right? Like every brand must have a personality. There's a big gap in the market right now where we are afraid to show our personality because it may offend someone may not like it, but our personality is something that really makes our audience click, right? So, as I said, avoid, like there's a lot of trend stuff that's going on, but it skips personality. Like all following all the trends today is kind of diluting your own personality because you're afraid to be not seen. And I get this question asked a lot, even when I'm in a stage giving a talk or I am in a panel, I am on my podcast. Like, how do I go viral, or how do I say something that makes me popular? And I always have this answer for everyone. Are you an influencer or are you a business owner? Right? Like if you are an influencer and your entire content is based on how I can get more brand deals, then yes, virality is a great goal to have. But if you are a business owner who has a service to sell, who has a product to sell, virality is just a blip for you. If somebody comes back to where all your assets, whether it's your website, landing page, email, and they don't have the answers they're looking for, that virality has no place in your funnel ideally. So forget the trends, think about your brand's personality, right? Like, and this is basically what you see on the right is called an archetypal wheel. This was developed by a scientist called Carl Jung, and he essentially says that, again, the four emotions that we spoke about, reassurance, inspiration, empowerment, and belonging, are, they have a bigger, they can be bifurcated into more simpler personalities that we see, right? Like for reassurance, obviously people are looking at safety, they want to know whether you're knowledgeable. There's also a spirit of freedom that they want to get from that knowledge, right? So the brands are listed accordingly. Like Dove has that innocence, like Audi does show people that they are like this very engineering knowledgeable brand with style. In inspiration, obviously I just spoke about Nike, but again, like Disney, great example when it comes to, like, a magician is always thought of somebody, he has some mystical powers, right? Like, is your brand someone like that, somebody with these, there's a mysticism in your approach. Okay. Obviously rebel is the most personality angle that is feared by brands because they feel they will alienate a lot of people. But I think that if truly your brand is in this space, like Liquid Death, I think about Liquid Death. It's in the space of H2O. It's like an outlier. So it's really something that you can carve out for yourself. Again, for empowerment and belonging, you can see the brands that are listed here. Empowerment, again, Apple is a creator. They have this innovation uh, basis to everything that they do. And you can look at IBM in the space of belonging. Again, belonging is something which is very community based. So there's obviously Cadbury that works great in that space. So I've given you all the examples, but I also want you to think about it in your content, right? Like you want to map your personality so that the voice of this personality is something that is very much, something that your audience can understand. So if suppose there's two messages but two different type of personalities, how would it sound? So a hero would say that stop waiting for permission, build the brand, and stop the scrolls, right? That's how a hero would talk. But if it's a caregiver, that person will say your story is the strategy, let's make the world hear it, right? So can you see the difference in the way the personality is approaching the same message? That is how you anchor your brand voice. You have to use this filter to think about how you are communicating your message to your audience. Again, I have another example here, and let's hope that this works too, like the last time.
Are you made for this? I mean, we all made of the same stuff. But choosing to do something, even when you don't know if you could do it, that just shows you what else you can become.
Okay, I know I showed you the personality type in the wheel, but the reason I showed it to you is because our personality type doesn't have to be exactly just one specific personality. It can be a mix of two things, but never more than two. So, can somebody guess the second type of personality that Nike is trying to emote? You can put it in the chat. Anyone? Okay, let me show it to you. Right? Like it's an archetypal mix that we say in the world of brand strategy where 90% is hero, but also 10% is the everyman person, right? Like they are not wanting to alienate themselves so much that a regular person cannot connect with them, right? So their stance and their core emotion is definitely about we inspire, and that's why their personality is highly hero personality, but there is also an element of everyday man, right? So there are things like we inspire, we challenge you, we invite action. And a lot of their challenges are based on invitation, like prove it, you can. So they always want to maintain that connect with the audience and not feel so unachievable that you are like, this is not for me, it's too overwhelming. So your personality doesn't have to be exactly just one thing, it can be a mix of two things, and you can definitely use it to your advantage. So again, I'm going to leave you with the wheel for you to see and map your personality. And then we'll take a 5 minute stop here so that you can go back to your workbook or the word bank and use the right words to define your personality. It can also be a mix. So I'm going to stop. Ajay, I see that you've raised a hand. So do you want to do this part or you want to go first?
Sorry, I meant to take that off. But anyways, yeah, that was in reference to Patagonia that you
Mm-hmm.
guys talked about, and both of you, yourself and the gentleman, were talking. And I just wanted to say that put where your put your mouth where put your money where your mouth is. I don't know if you guys saw the announcement today. Basically, Yuan is donating all his net worth. He made that pledge today, totally towards environmental cleanup on these clothing initiatives. So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of rated. So talk about like what you talked about, and that is walk the talk, if you will. Couldn't
Yes, exactly.
exactly to have that ad and then to back it up with a pledge saying that he's pledging all of his net worth towards the environmental. Just it's incredibly amazing. I thought I'd connect the dots over there.
That's amazing. And then can you see how it beautifully connects back to the emotion? I can guide you because he's walking the talk. He is doing it
Yeah, that's
for.
what I said. Like you connected the dots in one shot, just in one statement. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Another 2 minutes, guys, and maybe somebody who wants to volunteer to share if they want me to look at their brand personality and like give them some feedback. Please feel free. I'll give you 2 minutes.
And then one more thing, and the rebel personality. I think Jobs had that, and he never stopped. That always was there. Like he'd go out and make like statements like insanely awesome, beautiful products. Nobody would have so many adjectives in a word, but
Hmm.
he'd back up and say, "Yeah, they're trying," and all the ads of like Mac versus PC. It was nothing less than rebellious, and it worked. So if you can
Hmm.
expand on that and give an example, that'll be amazing. Thank you.
I mean, the example that comes to mind is definitely Liquid Death. I don't know if you've ever experienced the brand, but the entire idea that Liquid Death is about water is something that you have to go experience the brand. Whether you go on their YouTube channel or any other of these platforms that there are, you can see the energy, the outlaw. Like, you can see how they are redefining the space of water. And you think of it as something so small, you think of it as something like it's water. Like, what personality does a water bottle have? But they're using it to their advantage, right? They're using that idea to their advantage because water is a commodity. And when how do you differentiate in a commodity? Can you differentiate in a commodity? A lot of times B2B have these questions, right? And B2B doesn't want to anytime offend or have own this personality because they always think that if they're a service provider, they must not. But I don't think outlaw means somebody who is outrageous. outlaw means somebody who does not play by the rules. So that is the personality that you need to think of for your brand. That I think somewhere my all my content is a bit on the outlaw side. I don't play by the rules. So I wanted to go and encourage you to engage with my content, and it's not outrageous, but it's questioning everything, right? Like recently, I've been talking about everyone's talking about personal brand. I have a different point of view about it, and I talk about it very, very strongly. So I want you to think about outlaw as a character who is somebody who questions authority, who is not willing to play by the rule. Somebody sent me, what do you think of this personality of the brand? Does it have personality or not at all? I will probably do this at the end or kind of reach out to me, because this would be a little bit, we would not be able to cover it. We only have 20 more minutes to go. But thank you, Pankaj. And I've taken a note of this brand that you've said. I will definitely look into it. Okay, going back to sharing the presentation. Where were we? Here. Okay. I hope everyone's getting the drift on brand voice. And it's simplistic, but it's essential, is how I would like to put it. Now, part three, right? Like every personality has a behavior. Do you know that cousin or uncle of yours who is the funny one? And the funny one has some behaviors, right? They're mischievous, but they're not offensive, right? Like there's a certain limitation to your behavior that makes you who you are. And obviously, if you are crossing the lines, then that's a different kind of behavior which is not acceptable in any circumstance. So forget it in the business scenario, right? Like, for example, you want to be direct, but you don't want to be abrasive. You want to be warm, but you don't want to be like sentimental, because that's not what you're going for. You want to be bold, but you don't want to be combative. So behaviors have rules. And unfortunately, unless you kind of codify it for you, or if you have a team, the brand will get diluted. It will drift around. Okay, so for example, again, for your content, right, you have to protect your brand from that drift. You need to codify it for yourself, because sometimes you're creating content or doing things for a brand, because if you're a solopreneur like me, we are juggling so many balls. So you need to have it, like I literally have my brand voice in front of me as a placard on my table, so that I'm not swaying from it. And in your content, for example, excited to share my new package, link in bio. But if you are somebody who's like this bold but not combative personality type, you are saying your copy is costing you clients. Here's the fix. Can you see the difference? Can you see that in the moment that were excited to actually share it, they wanted to center themselves back and say, hey, you know what? I don't want my audience to honestly like see me exactly in this moment. They want to see the brand. And that's what you need to protect. And those are the behavior signals. I have an example for you for MailChimp here. And I thought without a video, it would be more interesting to look at it from how they communicate this throughout their touch points, right? Like everything is not a video, it's also your other touch points that you're using. So MailChimp is again a mix. They are 90% gesture and 10% sage. The core emotion that they're going for is mostly belonging, but also a bit of guidance, right? For example, the success notification, if you do something on MailChimp, is high five, your campaign is on its way to 5,000 people. Or if it's about, an empty state, it's like this folder is empty, like a fridge on a Monday morning, create something. So you can see the humor in it, but they're also nudging you with knowledge to like take action, right? If you've clicked an action button, they would say rock on instead of confirm. So the entire narrative on CTA that we have today, buy now, pay now, I think it's also your CTA button also needs a brand voice. And it can always, again, this entire framework can be used to create that. So yeah, MailChimp we sound like someone who's helpful and a bit witty. We do not sound corporate or cutesy. We prioritize clarity, explain simply, and add a light wink and when it helps. think about it. If you are a solopreneur today, how helpful this is for you to make sure that you're not swaying. And if you have a team, maybe a VA or somebody who does this for you, you hand this out to them and make sure. And then it's like a traction that you can make sure they did not sway. Otherwise, everything is just at this point an idea and not codified. So again, I want you to have this moment to yourself to codify your these stones for you, and then we will go towards the last step so that we can have the entire sheet done. I'm going to stop sharing, give you 5 minutes, and
Shivani, I love the fact that you're so up to date on all of this stuff. It's so amazing. It's beautiful to hear. Thank you so much for this.
oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah, because like I just spent a lot of money on a lot. I could have like saved all the money and just listened to your talk.
Now that is going to be part of my
Yeah, you should put that in your pitch. Like I just
yes, I
spent
am.
$20,000 in Chicago booth and another 20,000 at Berkeley. But yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Everyone, another 2 minutes and we'll do the last step of this brand voice. In the meanwhile, anyone wants to share the screen and show me what they've done for their any of the parts that you discussed, I would love to give my opinion on that. Feel free. We are all just working on this together. There are no rights and wrongs. Okay, sorry, I was on mute. I'm going to repeat that. There was a joke here that I mentioned. We are on the last part of our presentation, and we've done the emotion, we've done the personality, we've done the behaviors, and we are now on the last part, which is most important, is the tone. And the joke I just said was that I always tell my husband that, whatever you're saying is great, it's actually correct, but I just don't like your tone. So sorry for that little message, but I think that's so important in our conversation, right? We may be saying the greatest thing. I recently received somebody's email, which I get so often about podcasts because I have my own podcast. And this person was trying to sell something to me. And then there's a part of the email and it kind of says that, most people are just talking shit on their podcast. Now, this is a choice that they've made because probably that's their personality that they're going for. But I think in the podcast space for people who are trying to grow, is that the right tone that you want to go for? So that's why tone is highly important. We sound like someone who is. We sound like someone who is not. We always use this when we communicate. These are the markers that you need to check before you are approving a copy, connecting a copy, whatever that you're doing with your team or by yourself, right? So the singular source of truth for your entire organization, if I can say, like even if it's HR or sales, all of that, not just your marketing team, I think it's very important to maintain this. So you want to filter every communication before publishing. Does this sound like someone who, and then your description. Does this avoid sounding like the not words? Did I, again, always in this piece, right? Did I? So, again, all these things are available to you. The word bank will really help you knock it down for you. So, I really think that will be important. I want to show a case study again here so that you we'll discuss this, but get a little understanding of how to communicate this. I hope this works too.
In the search for wonder, there are no endings, only new beginnings. To discover unexpected wonders.
Okay. Again, Bulgari is the core emotion they're going for is a mix. They're going for belonging and inspiration, right? The archetype is also a mix. It's almost 80% lover, but there is about 20% of status built into it. So if you were thinking of the content Bulgari is kind of creating is crafted for those who don't follow luxury, they define it, right? Look at the tone. It's intimate, it's elevated, it's definitely not transactional. They're not going for that. And it always speaks to status and identity, right? So that's something that they're going for constantly. And that's the filter they use before they are creating things.